Right. Hey up, welcome or welcome back. Hey! And on this rare sunny Sunday, you find me on Luigi, my Moto Guzzi V7 Stone Special. And I'm out with Andy on his Triumph Bonnie T100 and VFR Mitch Gaza, who's left his Interceptor at home because it's at back at garage and he can't be arsed getting it out, and so he's on his Himalayan. And we're going to take a ride now to Middleham, and from thence we're going to go right over the tops to a little place called Coverdale and down into Kettlewell. So sit back, grab this a brew, grab this a libation of your preference, be it an infusion of leaves and water, an infusion of beans and water, or something a little stronger, and take in the majesty of the Yorkshire Dales. Courtesy of these three old codgers. Hey! Gaz has turned 50 now, so he qualifies as an old codger. So it's like last of the summer wine, this. Three silly old bastards arsing about, hey, across the Yorkshire Dales. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Look at that. And I'm hoping you naughty GoPro Hero 12, because you've now been consigned to the handlebars because you keep locking up for no good reason. You behave yourself, camera. I don't pay 400 quid for something that throws a hissy fit every now and again. And the view you see unfolding before you is courtesy of my slightly older GoPro Hero 10, which for some bizarre reason produces a better picture than the Hero 12, hence the swap around. I do love this part of the world, I have to say. I mean, this particular part of the Yorkshire Dales, the Nid Valley, there's something rather special about it for me, and as any Yorkshireman, or woman for that matter, will tell you, we all have our favourite little enclaves throughout God's own county of Yorkshire, and the Nid Valley is mine. And I couldn't really begin to tell you why, other than of course it is beautiful, but then so are all the other places pretty much. It's just that this one speaks to me, and I think that may well be because it was one of my old man's favourites back in the day, back in the 1930s, when he was cycling. Before he started motorcycling, when he was cycling in places like this. Fit as a fiddle he must have been. I've mentioned on previous videos that my dad, before he ended up serving his country in World War II, by joining the RAF in the Far East, fighting the Japanese. He kept diaries of his bike trips around these parts, and very eloquently written they are too, and very sobering, particularly the last sort of cycling trips he did prior to having to go fight for his country, just as World War II had broken out. And there's a certain dark resonance that I'm starting to feel, that much like he was contemplating what the world would look like in the ensuing years as he rode around the Dales, I'm now wondering, what's the world going to look like in the coming years? All we can do, folks, is come out here, either on your own or come out here with two good friends, like I am today, and cast aside such thoughts. So I won't mention it again. I don't want to depress you. But personally, I don't think life gets any better than coming out with a couple of mates out into glorious countryside like this on a lovely characterful old school motorcycle like this here Moto Guzzi, and just letting rip through the landscape. It's difficult, if not impossible, to put a price on the experience. And I thoroughly recommend, if you're not familiar with this part of the Yorkshire Dales and you manage to get up here and do some of this riding, this particular route from a little village called Lofthouse over the tops down into Massam is an absolute cracker. Over the tops here and down into Leighton Reservoir, it's an absolute cracker. I highly recommend it. And what I'm thinking of doing, and please let me know in the comments below if it's something you'd like me to have a go at on the channel, is just a series of dedicated scenic rides where basically I will limit the commentary to the landscape, really, to where I happen to be, maybe a little bit of history, maybe a little bit about how to get here, and some of the cafes and other places of refreshment and resort that you can excuse me, stop off at. I'd be more than happy to do that. If you think that'll fly, let me know. And there's Leighton Reservoir. Beautiful. Yesterday I was out on Norman, the classic 350, and he's still been running. So no more than 50 mile an hour, and I were out with Andy on his Bonnie T100, and I think he was just getting a little bit frustrated. But you know, what can you do? Fortunately, Norman is in for his first service in about a week's time, so thereafter he should be able to get a little bit more frisky when he's out and about. They are a bit of a beggar to run in of the J series engines, but once they are running, they're an absolute peach. And if it comes to that, this here Moto Guzzi V7 is still being running. The two schools of thoughts out there. Is the first service at 600 miles or is it at 900 miles? So according to the handbook, it's 900 miles. According to the dealership I got this from, it's 600 miles. But according to a lot of people who have bought V7s from other dealerships, they've been told it's 900 miles. And it is indeed 900 miles at which the little flashing spanner comes on to tell you to get it serviced, and I'm told it's only a Moto Guzzi dealer that can turn that off. So presumably, if you have the first service done at 600 mile, by the time you get to 900 mile, your spanner will be flashing, as I understand it, and you're going to have to go back to a Moto Guzzi dealer to turn it off. So I'm going to leave it to 900 mile as per the handbook on this here bike. But it's a cracker. It's proper old school, and in many respects this bike is more old school than my Super Meteor 650 or Classic 350, because they are, both of those are fairly recently developed engines. And of course this Moto Guzzi V-twin pushrod engine, in terms of its design, is quite a few decades old now. And you can tell it's old school. Hey, ain't nothing refined about this bike, thank God. And the one thing that I notice about this bike, if I've been riding the Classic 350 or the Super Meteor for that matter, is how much more poke it's got. So this bike is 66 brake horsepower, but I tell you, the power that it delivers, because of the nature of the engine map, is more than enough to put a massive fat cheesy grin across your face. It's a cracker. And I'm long overdue a visit on Norman to my other special spiritual place, Water. And if you haven't seen the trip that I did to Water on my original Classic 350, the green one, please have a look at that. Water's a very, very special place to me, and it's all explained in that there video. But I'm definitely overdue a return visit to that wonderful, wonderful spiritual place. And I'm just going to pull in here because Andy's going to take the helm, because he knows a couple of shortcuts which I can't quite remember, and I'll let him take the lead and make sure that we don't fall victim to any of my poor navigational skills. Alright.
Back on through. Won't stop anywhere.
We're stopping Kettlewell. Or if there's a nice spot to stop right on the tops to get a picture.
Well, do you want to lead from Midland then? I said, do you want to take the lead from Midland?
Yeah, okay.
And then you can stop where you want.
Okay. Cool. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, we got one in front of you.
Keep them coming. Ah, the wisdom of age. Middleham, where we're going to Middleham so that we can then turn off there and go over the tops to Kettlewell. Of course, it's famous for its castle, and it's also famous as a location for breeding and training thoroughbred racehorses. So you've just got to be a bit careful how you ride around there, otherwise you might end up with a face full of horse. Hey! Probably worth mentioning briefly the extensive number of comments on the video that I uploaded regarding that slow moving motorhome and the pedal cyclist. Oh, hey, that sparked some debate, let me tell you. I didn't even have to engage in any of that debate, there were plenty of it going on. Interesting to see differing views. I did a sort of quick roundup of what was said, and this is not in any way, shape or form a reflection of my personal views on the matter, not at all. It is simply a bit of factual reporting. The majority of comments laid blame at the cyclist's door. Then thereafter at the motorhome's door. And then a handful, you're probably right, just saying I was being impatient. I wasn't being impatient, I was just a little bit frustrated because it's quite a heavy clutch on the Moto Guzzi, certainly compared with the Royal Enfields, and I have sort of arthritic joints, and particularly the wrists, shoulders, wrists, and I was just getting to the threshold of my pain tolerance in the left hand, slipping that clutch in and out. So if you'll forgive me, and I'm sure you will, much of my frustration was born of discomfort. And a lot of comments saying, look, live and let live, everybody has got the right to be on the road, and if we all just be more tolerant of other road users with different kinds of transport, then we'll all get on just fine. And I have to say, I wholeheartedly agree. Absolutely 100% agree. But I think the thing is, we don't live in a perfect world, much as we would want to, and you know, you got to accept that some people do get frustrated to the point where they take silly risks, and that's what happened with that car. If you watch that video, that went for that overtake and had to dive back in suddenly to avoid a head-on collision with oncoming vehicles. And of course you can't really adopt any position other than, yes, that were down to the car driver. It was his or her decision to engage in that manoeuvre, whether born of frustration or not. But the bottom line is, people do get frustrated. And you never know, do you? You never know whether somebody in a car stuck behind a slow moving vehicle's got to get somewhere in a hurry. There may be a genuinely urgent need to make some progress, and so you can understand perhaps why some people in those circumstances get a little bit frustrated. So I always think it's worth considering that when you see things like that, there might be something else going on altogether with the person concerned. Anyway, that be that. It is a distant memory now, but thank you all of you for your interesting comments. And it looks like gravel is the main hazard on this road. Right, that's this bike filthy now. That'll be enough. It's an absolute dirt magnet, is this Moto Guzzi, let me tell you. Oh, Norman, the classic 350. Seem to be able to take him out in all sorts of shite, and it comes home like a new pin. This bike, you know, show it a puddle and by the time you get home you're bloody oozing mud off it. He's going to give me a bollocking in a minute, is Andy, for tailgating him. So yeah, what a beautiful day. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch the cameras off for a little bit because the proper good scenery of at Tops is yet to come. So I shall speak to you once we get there. Speak soon.